Hello, welcome to your weekly career conversation. My name is Kristen and you're in the good. And Nico wants to be here with us, so we're gonna let his kitty energy and medicine be with you as we go through our time here together today. So let's start by shuffling. What do we need to know? What's going on with our career path? What guidance do we need? What's hidden? What lies beneath? What are the validations that we need? What intuitions need to come forward and be seen that are in our hearts? What needs to be lit up? What's in the light? All right. Breakthrough. So we're at the beginning of a new year, and this energy feels to me like where you want to break through and where you're going, what wants to come next. And this breakthrough card represents a lot of the clarifications that have come through about what you want in your career, where things are going, what are the changes, what are the innovations. And this feels like this could have come through chaos, through seeing things that you didn't want to see, finding things out about people in your work environment and space that may have brought challenge or chaos, discovering patterns within your corporation, within your business that no longer serve. But there's this light. It's like in seeing these things, everything becomes very, very, very clear for you. And it propels you forward. It's almost like it's like, I don't want to see this, I don't want to know this, but boom, now I do. And I can't unsee, and I can't unknown, and I can't no longer not recognize within myself where my passions are propelling me forward, where the light of clarity, where the light within myself, with what lights me up, with what my passions are. I can no longer not acknowledge those things, and I have to burst through. I want to burst through and be seen in this new way, in career, in your business. It feels like also it could have been a period of time where you feel like everything was being broken down. Things were sort of coming apart, falling apart. Perhaps for some of you, things that you had built, spent a long time building, maybe came apart because they no longer served their function within your path, within where you're going next. And it feels like fragments of the soul as well, like pieces of yourself. Like, I think a lot of you were in environments where it felt like you personally, like we're fragmenting the different parts of yourself, and you want to come more into wholeness and be more in a place where the light is the guiding force as opposed to the darkness being the guiding force. Perhaps there was a spiraling into what needed to be seen, what was hidden. And through going down, down, down into the dark, secret, hidden areas, into even that you then were able to go so far down that you broke through the tunnel and into the light of what your personal truth is. How about that for a new year? I hope that you are doing well. I hope that you'll like, share, and subscribe as this resonates. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know how you're enjoying this reading and if you like the way I'm doing it. All right, so there's an Ace of Wands coming up, which is, these feel very, in a similar vein of there's no way to get to the breakthrough, to the new idea without going through a certain amount of destruction of what was. Even if it's your own personal values around your career, where you have come to find is the seat of your self-worth in the work that you do in the world, a recognition of of a deep sense of self-worth and your value system around what you want in your work environment. And perhaps that switched up. And for many of you, there was a certain over-compromising or sacrifice to get to a certain place, to get to a certain level. And now that you're there, you no longer want to feel stuck or stagnant. It's like, okay, I can't go any further up. I've gone as far as I'm gonna go. So there has to be a breakthrough, like a punching through of the glass ceiling. I'm seeing like a roof or a ceiling, and like you need to punch through or break through and have the light shine down in. Perhaps some of you are going to be in a leadership position, or you've recently got promoted. You have a different place within where you work, and you want to use your new status, your leadership abilities, your new place to really change things so that the people around you feel inspired, so that there's more of a collaborative effort where everybody can bring forth their ideas in a passionate way, because you want to feel like you can bring forth your ideas in a passionate way. And you know that it takes a village, it takes a community. And you've come to a place where you're okay that somebody else could have an idea that might work better. And that being a real leader, that being somebody who wants to be in leadership, there has to be this collaborative effort, this flow in a collaborative way where it's not an over competition with everybody working to get their idea out and to be the best, it's almost a rising tide takes all ships. And I think it's this shift into that is the spark of what you've gotten. And some of you might feel like you're in a place where maybe there's a person ahead of you, or maybe it is a kind of corporation that has like a certain structure that can't really hold that, and you're wondering, how do I, in a more nuanced way, like if there's a certain way that this work environment has been held and the container there has been held in a certain way, how can I infuse, even in a subtle way, person by person, little interaction by little interaction, little meeting by little meeting, how can we bring ourselves to our work and to these projects and to these ideas? And it's not about, again, having everybody acknowledging you for it. It's this quiet acceptance that we're doing this to make our work environment a better place for everybody to be, so that we can be happier and more productive. And therefore, it is a holistic approach to making change. With the Eight of Cups, it is walking away from something that has been done a certain way for a long period of time that could very, very well have been extremely successful. With the moon in the background, there have been secrets. There have been people that have been very secretive and not wanting to share. But I feel like lately, in the recent past, in the present, things are coming to light. Perhaps as we ended the year and final reports and final analytics were being done, something was being revealed about how things weren't working as they were. And there's a need to go a little bit internal and really sit in the place of not knowing unnecessarily on how it's going to be fixed or changed, but knowing that it is acknowledged that there has to be a change. And that's the first step to change and moving forward and to making everything better. And with the King of Pentacles, this is going to be something that is going to be prosperous as time moves on for everyone. There's also somebody here that is very focused on creating material wealth and abundance, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I think there's somebody in the environment, and it could even be you, where if there can be a little bit of a fear around, if I don't do this, will my abundance be affected? Will my status be affected? Well, right now I'm bringing in this material reward. I'm bringing in a certain amount of things are the structure as it is has a certain value to it. The King of Earth is somebody who can value a structure and how a discipline and a structure and a focus can really bring about a lot of success. But there has to be a little bit of space for the flow and the imagination in between the structure, right? So we have like a scaffolding, and the scaffolding can be very clear, but in those spaces in between, let there be an unknown factor that can be invisible, right? And to sit in the discomfort of maybe not knowing and allowing what needs to come next to emerge. And then that takes you to the next place in the structure. And then you sit in the space of necessarily not knowing and allowing what needs to happen to emerge. So it's sort of like this sandwiched effect where you're not letting go of structure and discipline and a way forward, because people need there to be that in order for there to not be chaos, in order for people to feel comfortable and safe in a work environment. But there also needs to be a place where everything is not clung to so tightly, and it has to be done this way. There has been a place perhaps that has emerged where it's maybe something quite hasn't worked the way it always has worked, and there does need to be a discovery of what comes next. And maybe there isn't an idea yet, but for an idea to emerge, you have to leave some of the old ideas in the background and realize that that can create more financial abundance, more recognition, more success in the long term if you can let things evolve and follow the trends and be in attune with the next trend of what is. There's always going to be, the intelligence of what has worked before. And you're always going to have those seeds, have that ingrained within you that can always be integrated. But allowing new things to come in, allowing the seeds of something new to be nurtured, to even just, okay, I'm going to plant this. It's sort of like a surprise box of seeds. And I don't know what, but I'm going to plant it and I'm going to nurture it and I'm going to love it. And I'm going to give myself to it. And I'm going to allow other people to bring the ideas of, I know that we've always given this amount of light and this kind of plant food, but I really think that this kind of plant food, or we need organic fertilizer, or we should be composting instead, or let's try giving this a certain amount of shade, or maybe we've been overwatering. Let other people bring in ideas of how to nurture something new. It could also be that you are the person, that you're working with someone who's scared, right? They don't want to lose this. They don't want to lose this status. They don't want to lose their comfort and security. But there needs to be an acceptance of, it's just going to take a moment and some space to figure out what the next steps are, and what do we need to do as a group? What do you need to do as the entrepreneur to make yourself feel comfortable in that space? And a lot of it can be even just acknowledging that there is a certain amount of discomfort and supporting yourself if you're on your own with your company, or what can people do to be supportive to each other? Not holding on to what can appear to be emotional security by hanging on to the old, keeping everybody kind of not admitting they're scared, not admitting that they don't know. Nobody wants to admit, I don't know what the next step is. Well, this hasn't been working anymore, and I don't know why this didn't work last year. It's been working for the last 10 years. The business has changed. The trends have changed. How our customers, their needs and wants, and how they need us to present things to them have changed. The people that we are presenting to, that we're trying to sell to, they have different needs. The world has shifted. And so not clinging so dearly onto how you've done it in the past. Because perhaps how you've done it in the past, although it may have worked, it may have put you into a very contracted, constricted place. That there was a certain amount of stress and anxiety of and then but it works out. Is there a way to get results that are just as good or even better, to make room that it can be even better? It can be more in alignment with who you are now, with your company, how it is now, your business, how it is now. with the people that are working with you. Perhaps you've got new people working around you. You've hired new people, or there are new people on your team that have been put there. And there has to be this like letting go a little bit of control and allowing these other resources to come in and help you so that there's less contraction and stress and anxiety around it. And with the Chariot, it is about balancing everybody's light and everybody's dark, and everybody's, their feelings of stress. And often people will have this, I don't know if I'm good enough, but it doesn't present that way. Either that, or it really presents that way and you're wondering, can I trust them? So I think if you can let go of whatever it is about yourself that you are questioning, you're going to be able to be a better leader, a better guide to those around you. And again, it can just be acknowledging that those discomforts are even there. And a lot of it loosens up with just admitting that we're all in a process, we're all learning. There's always a breakthrough to get to another place that can feel very discomforting, but is also very freeing and liberating at the same time. And liberation really comes from creation. And it's self-creation, your personal process, your self-development, what you're doing to make yourself feel better, to inspire yourself. And then that creation process of what are we willing to create? And are we willing to, try something new, to allow the structure and the discipline? Can we use those things to foster more creation as opposed to being in a stuck place around it where everybody is hiding their emotions? No one wants to admit how they really feel. And people aren't bringing forth their new ideas because they're afraid they're not going to be heard. If this is the case, you're really going to be missing out on some things that could really propel. Or you need to step forward and be brave enough to come out and just find a way to say what you have to say about a new way of trying something. And, if you're not the one in charge, if you've got somebody who's in charge, it's trusting that, this is a king that also can really have a nurturance, who really wants things to grow. And that despite being the materialism that is there, right? The material abundance and wanting to enjoy a certain amount of recognition and success, that they can be a person who is also willing to shift their ideas. Because if this person that you're dealing with wants such success, you have to trust that they might be willing to try something new. And if you can present it in a certain way with a certain amount of confidence and logic, I think this person wants to hear things that are logical and practical. So maybe it's finding a way to do the presentation in a way where you don't lose your creative idea, your flow, you're enthusiastic to try something new, but presenting it in a way that appeals to this practicality, to the structure. And if you're the one in charge, then it's appealing to yourself in that way. How can you find a way to appeal to, okay, we want to do this and I need it to feel safe for myself as a business owner or somebody who's in a leadership or in charge? What can I do to feel safe so that I can be more free to create and try something new? And it could be having resource or guidance from someone who has done it before you. You might be surprised when you can admit to yourself that you want to move on, that you want to, it feels like you've been in a lot of turmoil for a period of time, or chaos or doubt about yourself, about what can really be something amazing. And when you can kind of step into a place of I'm willing to be the student again, the teacher will appear. And that doesn't take you down a notch in your leadership or how you're seen in the world, but it's a quiet thing within yourself and in your heart. I'm willing to really come at this from a beginner's mind. and know that there are people that might know a little bit more than me. And again, you might be surprised at what kind of mentors and what kind of people really want to help you if you're willing to kind of go to that place within yourself. And with justice, it's about coming to your own reckoning, coming to your own place of non-judgment about yourself and who you really are and what you've stepped into as you go into the year 2025. And wanting to be balanced again, balancing the structure with the flow, with the imagination, with including other people, with letting them feel of value, with letting the team you've created around you feel of value, letting them bring to the table their special gifts so that you have more time to be in creation. We'll leave it at that. I hope that you will join me for the love reading on Friday. We have weekly energies every single Monday. I thank you so much for being here, for listening to me, for being a part of this community. These readings are here for you whenever you need them, and I hope you come back often. Mwah. Be well.